guys, how's it going? Good to see you. Happy Katie Church. It's not even a day of the week anymore. It's just Katie Church. We're gonna open this window. Oh, I debate every time, like natural lighting or not natural lighting. It doesn't really matter. Hi, good to see you all. So happy you're here. I'm gonna let a couple more bodies gather. I think we're gonna have a couple more bodies, and just gonna riff a little bit here and share a couple quick insights and ideas and things, and then I'd love to just get right into psychically looking at whatever your questions are, and hopefully bringing through some useful information, and or energy. Couple things. Keep in mind, if you come here and you discover, oh, there's all these things. Oh, there are these patterns. Oh, I could use a little digging deeper. You might want to hook yourself up with a little package, little Katie package, which you can pick yourself one up of grammar at katierubin.com. Just go there, just grab a package. A bunch of the people here do. Be one of those people. Get your package. When you get a package, we get to dive deep and we get to go, 50 minutes of divine light. This particular some of my students right now can attest, and if you care to in the chat, please do, to the, I don't know what words to use, power, potency of the light lately. It's really strong. Class has been really intense, both of my classes. The groups that gather, when a group gathers in a class of a spiritual healing class, an energy work class, really any kind of group anywhere that gathers for any reason, but particularly light workers who gather to do their healing work in a light work context, any group that is created, there is a consciousness to that group. There is something that group is collectively capable of doing, creating, being, receiving, that any other group would be doing, creating, being, or receiving something else. I am really impressed by and very humbled by and very amazed by and very blown away by what is happening in these groups of late. In my Friday class, which you could call it's not a beginner class, but it's just like a little less, it's not my like rocket ship to the stars class, how I think of it in my consciousness. Doesn't matter. We're rocket shipping to all the fucking stars, because those folks that are there, whatever they're working on in their 3D lives, their 5D self and their 9D self is so fucking far beyond all of this struggle here on the struggle bus of the 3D reality that we are traveling. We had the Lemurian light shine through in that class on Friday in a way that broke the majority of us into fits of sobbing. Like, so beautiful and powerful was the transmission of light that it broke my ass open and just I just ugly sobbed for a while during that transmission, and I was still hearing guidance, so I was going like, this is a teaching about crying hard. What was happening in that particular case is that person's soul, she had just said like, it hurts right here, and I was like, okay, let's clear it. And then she was feeling into whatever that was, and by cracking whatever that was open, I'm talking about, like, imagine the force of a geyser coming up from the earth, but instead it was coming from the heavens down through the crown. And my body is kind of like a stand-in for everybody else's body. Like, so I'm experiencing in a certain way, not in the way you're experiencing it, but I'm experiencing viscerally, because I'm a kinesthetic psychic healer person. I'm experiencing what's happening in your body with you. This is kind of fucking intense. And this woman's body was like devastatingly grateful to be reunited with this Lemurian light. Now, the Lemurians are one of the races of beings that were present at the time of Atlantis. They're instrumental in the teachings of the light getting out to the collective at that time. And so this woman needed a realignment with her Lemurian lineage, because she was there at the time of Atlantis, and she was a real leader at the time and a spiritual channel. She was like a priestess, and there was a staff, and she was on the top of this crystal mountain, and it was pretty wild. My point being, her body, her 3D body now in present time, was so grateful to have been reunited with the light. And the light was breaking her open so fast and so strong and filling her with so much all at once that my body went into fits of sobbing. Wild, wild, wild. I was also high as a kite for about 2 hours after that. So, anyway, the transmissions are always strong, but lately, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's actually, let's use this as a way to tap in and get ready for your guys's questions. That's a perfect transition. So, I'm just gonna breathe and expand my awareness just a bit. I'm just kind of dropping into my first and second chakras, opening my energetic awareness, expanding my energy field out past the smallness of this body and to the edges of the earth and the galaxy and the universe. If you want to, you can join me in this, just expanding your field a little bit, just by breathing deeply into the low belly and just imagining that your aura, which usually is about 15 feet around you, let's say that your aura is made up of conscious awareness. So just imagine the conscious awareness of you expanding infinitely in every direction right now, up and down, left and right, behind you and forward. And this just allows us to receive more awareness, knowing, guidance, psychicness. Remember, too, this is a topic I've spoken on before, but I think it's such an important one to remember. The difference between what we think and what we know, right? What you know is what you know without knowing how you know it. Like, something will come through your system and you'll be like, that's true. But it won't be mental. It won't be like, I am thinking up a thought now and I will therefore make it be true, because it's not really coming from the individuated I of the ego of you. It's coming from, wow, it's coming from, whoops, my computer just unplugged. Please hold while I go under my desk and replug it. You know what I like a lot about moments like this? This reminds me of you, Margaret, because for a while there, when Margaret was in one of my classes, I would text her afterwards and be like, well, we just met God in class and I was like blown out of all the dimensional knowings of anything. And now I'm in space, but also Squeezel has to take a shit. So we're on the roof and Squeeze is shitting and I'm picking up dog shit. It's like, we don't leave the realities of the three-dimensional world when we gain access to everything beyond it. So it's just fun to be talking about such like esoteric, highbrow, advanced shit, and then be like, my laptop got unplugged. Okay, so what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, so we expand our awareness. And in so doing, we gain insights. Right, and the difference between knowing and thinking. So knowing comes to us, we receive it. It's very important to understand and have a working relationship with receiving. If you're going to want to have awareness, awareness is what we know. It's awareness, it's truth. We can be aware of what is true. We can invent with our creativity and our minds whatever the hell we want, but it may not be true or something to be aware of. It's just something we've invented. So if I say, what was the question I was asking before? Oh yeah, why are the healings so intense lately? I could mentally, I'm a very creative, very smart lady, like all of you. And I could invent a bunch of ideas. I have theories. Personally, my mind has ideas. I'm a smart person. I can invent some conclusions about why the hell the healings are extra, whatever they are right now. But I'm not, so in this context, I'm looking for awareness. So what I want to do is expand my energy field, open my heart, soften it, quiet the mind, drop into the belly, and start to listen with my awareness, which is very big. The awareness, when you do the expansion exercise we just did, the purpose of it is it expands your awareness as everywhere infinitely. So you can grab information from any dimensional reality. I'm trying to like why would I try this insane hair? Like, why would I try to fix it? It's insane. But I have some kind of like OCD idea about what it would look like if it were balanced, and it never happens. So I need to let it go. So why truth, conscious awareness? Why have the healings been so extra lately? Okay, well, and this is humbling. So the first piece is that it's to do with the degree of my own. Okay, I have to back up. When I moved to New York, You'll notice there's moving boxes behind me. I'm moving again. We're not talking about where yet because it's a secret. If you know the secret, please don't say it. Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Um, when I moved to New York, I spent, the majority of this year for me on the 3D level was injuries, illnesses, being trapped in this condo because of COVID, um, heartbreaks, pain, aloneness. Like you could look at this 3D year of mine and be like, not my favorite. But every single time there'd be an injury, I had that ankle injury that was really bad for a bunch of months, and I was in a casty thing, like a boot, and then I was on the scooter like a sad lady, and then then I took one of the vaccines, which I didn't want to do, and it really fucked me up for weeks with very weird symptoms. And then I was going to do the booster but didn't because I got COVID anyway, and COVID was a fuck ton of a nightmare. And it was a hard fucking year. There was people I dated and they turned out to be not who I thought they were, and just it was hard on the 3D level. Every single thing that occurred though, and the reason I'm so peppy and full of life is despite all that, like I should be curled up in a ball, I guess, but is because it all okay, the specific injuries and challenges of this year for me specifically they were designed for specific reasons. I don't know if any of you remember, this is all coming back to why the healings are so intense right now. You guys remember the story I told about when I hurt my ankle and how it happened? Okay, I'm going to tell that story briefly right now to make this other story make sense, which will be an answer to why the healings are so intense right now. Long story short, I was in a grocery store. I came out of the grocery store. I stepped off the curb and my foot went into a hole in the concrete on the street, but my foot hit the side of the hole, and then like my whole ankle went kapow over, like the way it shouldn't go. The pain was unbelievable. It shot all the way up, bad. I got in the car sobbing, so much pain. And I lowered my seat back. Some of you have heard this story. And I immediately started EFT tapping to make the pain, like to take the pain from a 50 to a 3, which I accomplished with EFT tapping, and a lot of crying and praying and asking for help. And then I got real fucking mad for a second at God. And I was very actively like, seriously, now I'm injured. Like it's already winter. It's already COVID. Everybody's hiding. It's hard to meet people in New York. I was new in New York. I had shit to do in the city that night. So I needed to take an hour and a half train. And I was real fucking mad at God. I was like, what the fuck you? Then I heard, this was after, no joke, like 45 minutes of tapping through the pain to just bring the pain down. Oh, it makes my body hurt just thinking about this. I'm going to expand again because it hurts. So I heard outside of my car what I thought was a homeless man, and I had invented the narrative that he was a heroin addict, mumbling kind of like a song, like singing a song, but in a drunk, heroin addicted like fogginess state of being. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a drunk man stumbling around like, and I was like, and he was so close to my ears that I was imagining there was a homeless heroin addict man right outside my car, which made me angry because I was mad at God already. And I was like, great. So now my life is threatened by a scary person whose behavior is unpredictable, on top of I'm in the most pain I've been in a long time. Fuck you, God. Thanks very much. By the way, God can always take your anger. It's about being in a process of anger with God. God loves it when we get mad because you're in communication with it. If you're like, hey, God, fuck you. God's like, oh, hey, what's up, girl? It's you. Thanks for talking to me, dumbass. And then if you stay in touch, ooh, I like that. That's kind of fun. If you stay in touch and process your anger, God is also the source of what will relieve the anger. So God has like a sense of humor about the whole thing. It sort of goes, it's an energy, right? So and it's a consciousness. So it goes, oh, you're angry. I know, I love you. And then it sends so much love that it makes the anger turn into sad. And then you're crying. And then you're better. And then you're like, thanks, God, that helped a lot. It wants us to be angry with it because it is the source of healing of anger. And it's like, cool, bring it, bitch. I'm not a human. I'm not triggered by your anger. Be angry at me. And all this bullshit they teach you in the fucking where people teach things about what God is, about how it's angry at you. No, it fucking isn't. Okay, anyway, I'm on so many tangents. How am I going to find my way back? Watch me do it. Here we go. So I'm laying there in the car and I've done a lot of tapping and it's been 45 minutes. I'm yelling at God. Now I think there's a threatening man outside the window. And I decide, you know what? I can't right now with the threatening man. I'm just going to keep tapping through my pain because I got shit to do. I got to get to the city. So tappity tappy I go. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I recognize that song that guy is singing. And then I'm like, wait, that's not a song. And I realize it's the Adhan, which is the Sufi Muslim prayer. It's the call to prayer that mosques send into the streets to call the people to prayer 5 times a day. And I, as many of you know, I went to a Sufi healing school, so I'm very familiar with this particular prayer that rings out into the streets. When I I was in Mumbai for 12 days. I felt like I lived there because I went through many lifetimes of healing in that 12 days. Holy fuck, that was intense. Anyway, in the streets of Mumbai, there's all different religious temple-y situations in Mumbai, but the Adhan rings out through the streets 5 times a day in the same way that it does in the Middle East. And the hotel I was in Mumbai, right next door to a fucking mosque. So every day, Allahu Akbar, all through the streets. It makes my heart just, oh my God, it's so nourishing to me. Anyway, I realize as I'm in my car that what is being sung around me is the fucking Adhan. And my tears turn to tears of laughter, and I start to laugh because I'm like, you son of a bitch, you're right here. I look back behind me and there's a mosque right next door to the natural food store that I had just been shopping in, where I had hurt my foot. And I got an awareness, bringing us back to what is awareness versus thinking, that this injury had happened for me, not to me. And I remember a couple weeks later when I was working with my healer psychic that I sometimes check in with, I see her like once a year. And we were on the phone and I was like, this fucking ankle thing, what the fuck? And she was like, you understand, they're saying right now, it could have been a lot worse. Like they could have given you a lot worse of a way to sit the hell down. And I was like, I know, you're right. You're totally right. And it was to sit me down in a real way, because that particular injury became the catalyst for the breaking open of some parts of my 3D body that weren't yet receiving the light. So the light has been working me for 20 years now, but like certain parts of my 3D body were just like solidified in resistance and closed offedness from trauma from childhood, because they would be. So in order for the light to get into the physical body the way it needed to, and in order for me to get connected to these parts of my physical body that were like, it had to literally hurt my body. My body had to go, ow, to crack open so that the healing that came in there could come in there. You see, the body keeps the score, as the book is aptly titled. Knowing me with my aversion to physical pain, there was no way I was going to like crack into that without a physical injury. Also, the angels and my guides, they needed me to sit down for a bunch of months, because then I spent the next bunch of months activating my physical body. Okay, so all this comes back to, why are the healings so intense right now? Because over the course of this year, all the breaking open of my body has allowed the healings to be more viscerally effective. I didn't even think anything could be more viscerally effective than what was already coming through for my clients, because whatever the degree to which I can receive the light in my body is the degree to which you can benefit from it in yours. So that's part of it. Another part of it is we are at a moment right now in the collective advancement procession, where things are moving quickly and intensely for those who ask. I mean, okay, think of it this way. the degree to which things are quote, quote, falling apart in the world, the fires and the global warming and the politics and the polarities and polarizations amongst us, that is the degree to which the light is shooting up from the earth and shooting down from the heavens. In the same way that for me to break open into a certain new layer of receiving from divinity, it had to break my body. In the same way that that had to happen, we have to break our structures. All the darkness hidden underneath the structures we currently live under the influence of has to be cracked open, broken apart. And when you break something open, all the shards of shit that were under it, holding it together, creating it, come up to the surface. So that's how much light is moving through the collective, that it's broken. Think of like, okay, before Trump, we had the shadow of our politics. Like the shadow of our politics was in the shadow. Like Bush was a bit of a shadow moment, but not compared to Trump. Right? Trump is the shadow coming up to say, hello, this is what the shadow looks like. But we didn't want to see that shadow, did we? We want to keep it in the fucking darkness. So there's so much light moving from the consciousness of the planet and the collective of all the planets in this galaxy and all the dimensional realities, frankly, that everything from the shadow has to come up to come out. I always talk about it's like like a boil on the ass of consciousness that has to be squeezed. And when you squeeze it, the pus comes out and it's real gross and it hurts. But then you don't have a boil anymore. So the combination of the cracking open of the collective and how much light is coming through us for the sake of our own awakening and consciousness, plus the work I've done and the work they've done through me, to me, on me, near me, means that the healings are really fucking strong right now. As is my awareness, which brings us back to awareness. And it's 5:55, exactly. The fives tend to be about letting go and trusting. The fives are about express it, tell the truth, let go, trust. I look at them right now. Okay, so let's take some questions. I hope that's illuminating in some useful way. And I'm really happy you guys are here. So let's dive in. Any questions anyone has about anything at all, please throw them into the chat. These can be questions on any kind of expansive topic or very personal, specific to you topic, injury questions, consciousness questions, awareness questions, pain, suffering, jobs, relationships, sex, shame, death, murder, whatever you want. All right, Margaret says, damn it, LOL. I'm experiencing the opposite of the intensity you're talking about. My ability to connect with spirit seems to have gone AWOL. Is it just natural for that to come and go in phases? Yes. Or is there something I need to do to bring that tangible connection back? Okay, let me sit with that for a second. So for Margaret, I want to tap in with Margaret's consciousness. Oh, look at that. I brought it up on the screen. I keep forgetting we can do that. There's Margaret's question. Look how big it is, all fucking front and center. Look at how pretty you are in your picture. Okay, I'm moving on. Okay. Yes, it comes and goes in phases. And yes, you can increase your connection to it always. You're not required to at this time, but Margaret McCarahan. They're like, your connection is really lovely. It's just you're experiencing it in a 3-dimensional way right now, not a 5 or 6 or 9-dimensional way. If you want more 5, 6, 9-dimensional and so on ways, you want to activate your spiritual alignment a little more directly, a little more potently, like come to class or have some healing sessions so we can activate that for you, or turn on your whatever the transmission that I sent you at a certain point. I think it was a Syrian light transmission, maybe. Play that bad boy a few times and that'll expand you beyond. What it is that you have such a lovely, like Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene kind of frequency to you, that just you being you is a very spiritual thing. Like you're so good at like love and flow and nurturing and love and flow and nurturing. that they're not needing to knock on your window for any reason right now. But if you miss it, if you miss the light, and this is the thing of once you get spiritually activated to a certain degree, we crave it. It's like you miss your lover. They used to say in Sufi school, like you'll miss Allah like you've never missed anyone before. And then you'll think all the loves you've had before God were like chump change or like child's play. And that was certainly my experience. So you can go deeper if you miss it, but it's not required of you right now. And you can, hop on in, get a session or play that activation, and that'll do it for you. I love you. I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have more on that. Okay, Carly says, I'm struggling with the recent passing whew, of my dad. Is there anything specific I can do to help get through the days? Oh, I'm so sorry. Also, my body has been feeling all kinds of weird ways. Is this related to the grief or a food intolerance? I do get food intolerance. There's a lot going on here. Well, I hear you. Welcome to being a human being. I'm struggling with the recent passing of my dad. I'm so sorry. Is there anything specific I can do to help get through the days? Yeah, let me sit with that. So, Carly Mara. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, a few things, Carly. So, I'm so sorry. What a hard thing. Okay, so to process the grief is sitting in the front part of your belly. It's like in the belly in the front. So when you have the energy, it would behoove you to dive into, aka drop your attention and your energetic awareness straight into the center of the front of your belly where all that grief is sitting and let it come up and out. Scream at God, journal, cry, rant, let the tears happen. Grief is made more difficult when we resist it. You may as well just be sad because the tears are going to have to happen and the sadness is going to have to exist. So the more you dive straight into it, the more you can move of it out and process through the hardest layers of it. Now, that being said, you can't do that all day, every day, obviously, right? Because you got shit to do. And also, it would drive you insane to just grieve all day. And it's interesting because when I feel into your field, they show it to me like your midline and your back are still really nicely aligned. Sometimes grief can really crack people in half in a way that's like it injures every part of them. But in your case, the grief is sitting like a heaviness in the front of the belly. But the middle of you and the back is still really like you have access to joy still, which is great. They're like, spend time with friends, make appointments to laugh, like go see that movie that makes you laugh, go see comedy shows or something that makes you laugh, be with friends that make you laugh. But you need to schedule it in even when you don't feel like it ahead of time. Call your girlfriends and be like, okay, Wednesday night, and then call other girlfriends and be like, Friday morning, and then call other girlfriends and be like, Sunday evening, and have it set so it's on the calendar and you're going to it. You can think of these friend times as this is how you're taking breaks from working actively on the grief. And when you're not taking a break, work actively on the grief. Be with it. Don't resist it. And I say that like, oh, it's so easy. It's not. It's not easy. Boy, do I know about grief, though. I hear you and I feel you, and I'm really sorry for your loss. And thank you for sharing that with us. Do let me know if there's anything else on that, Carly. Thank you for that. I know it's incredibly vulnerable. Yeah. Oh, and it's food intolerance is the other thing. Let me just sit with that piece too. Is the grief causing the food intolerance? No. Is the grief associated with the food intolerance? No. So, okay, so gluten, dairy, and one specific, like, is it like a food coloring? Yeah, like red food coloring. Is there anything else her body is intolerant to or reacting to? No. Let me know if you have other foods you think it might be, but that's what I get for you. Okay, cool. Let's see. Thank you. Oh, that's so weird. We got a bunch of weird spammy interrupts today. That's so funny. Thank you for working on that, Leslie. Okay, Rhonda. I'm curious about my home living situation. I desire to move and have for some time, yet nothing is landing or lighting up as right place or right timing. Am I being worked here intentionally further, and that's why I'm not getting the guidance yet? No. Or something else. Something else. Okay, let's see. So Rhonda Burns. Rhonda Burns. Okay, let me fit. You're so fun. Your energy is just fun to be with. When you say nothing is landing or lighting up as right place, right time, does that mean you're looking at places and nothing feels quite right? Or do you mean something else by that? Maybe you could type that in. All right, so is it in Rhonda Burns's highest good to move right now? No. And so what can you tell us about like why she desires to move, but now is not the time? Um, so okay, this is interesting. This is very practical. The only thing that comes up is something about money. It's like having enough money laying around that you can buy something. They'd rather you like really have something you really love that you can buy. They're like, there's no point in just shuffling around and making a lateral move. It's like save a ton of money and buy something bigger, something nicer, something exactly like what you want, exactly what you want, not settling, not making it work in any way, exactly what you want. Um, that's why. But tell me if nothing feels good. Okay, good. Tell me if I'm missing anything there about the financial reality. But that's what I get, Rhonda. It's like they're like, don't it's just why move again if you yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. Why move again if you're just gonna move again? It's like save up that cash, get that deposit together, get the credit score right, get the taxes in line for 2 years in a row. You know, do what the world says you have to do to have a house. Just do those things and spend this time doing that. There's no point in like moving your shit around and then doing it again. Yeah, okay. Cool. Awesome. Great question. All right. Uh I'm so glad you've learned from my experiences. I sure fucking hope so. Thank you for sharing that, Rhonda, because I kind of think that's the whole point is we each have experiences and then we get to share them with each other and then we all get to learn. Don't know another way. Okay, Frida says, my husband and I have been working on a graphic novel. Cool. Getting the pitch packet together to send to publishers. Amazing. Can you see if this is going to all work out and be popular? Okay, all work out is a big yes. Be popular is a different thing. Let's come back to it. I feel positive about it, but looking for outside validation as I slog through the inking process. Yeah, fun. Okay, give me a second. It's definitely all going to work out. You'll definitely get it published. I think it's going to have a strong following of a certain type of people. Okay, there's something like that. Let me say it. How do you want me to say it if not exactly like that? It's going to have like a cult following, like a niche market following. That. Um, and then it's like part of you goes, well, is it worth doing it then? Yes, my God, yes. There's so much downloading through you, as I'm sure you're aware, in the making of this. So as you make it together, you're transmitting light. You're receiving conscious awareness and making art with it. What's more important than that? A lot of it is to do with the making of it is to do with you coming to understand the or you owning more actively how true it is that for you art making is the receiving of light, or it's like light is the wrong word, it's the receiving of spiritual awareness and the transmuting of that awareness into beauty and art. And that's what you're here to do. So it's you doing your soul's purpose and your soul's work. Remember, as a generator, I believe you're a type of generator. What generators are meant to do is be satisfied with the work they're doing, not work for an outcome. Like it'll be popular, so I'll slog through it. You want to enjoy doing it. And if you're not enjoying doing it, don't do it in your case. But I get that if you can let yourself enjoy doing it, it also is like a real bringing together with you and your husband, a real bonding. It's like your two double helixes, his and yours, they really merge together in a nice way as you're working on this together. But you both have to be willing to allow that. Like, can you allow it to be fun? Can you allow this to be a download? Can you allow this to be a transmission of conscious awareness? That's a gift you have that many, 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 many people would love to have. So please enjoy it. You know what else they're like? You should, it would benefit you to make TikTok videos about the process. So you're painting or drawing or whatever you do, and you have the camera on, and then you can do that fast motion thing where you speed it up. They really would like you to do the TikToks. Do the TikToks. I'm such a grandma. That's going to be cool. And it's going to help build a following as you go. Ooh, and it's going to be fun for you. What a fun thing. Yes, yes, yes. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have further thoughts, Frida. That's so exciting. Congratulations. You always have the coolest projects. I love it. You did that mural thing above somebody's something on a fireplace, maybe. So cool. First of all, big thank you, says Jamie, for your service. I love you, Jamie. Thank you so much for acknowledging me. You're just such a goddamn delight. We are out here. We are listening. Thank you, my love. And your work is fantastic. I so appreciate it. I'm curious about the connection I have to the Blu-rays. I started to look into it, and I would like to know more and get some guidance on quality information to read, listen to, watch. Does Blu-rays run in my 3D family? No. We are also so similar and so different. Yes, you are, they say. A lot of my family is broken spiritually. So much trauma has been endured. Yep. Let me drink this Coke Zero while I listen in. Huh. Well, this is very interesting. Jamie Vega. What a fun spiritual name to have, right? Your name is Vega from the Vega, what's that called? Galaxy? Constellation? Okay. You have a space name already. So when I tap in, like with Jamie Vega's system, is she a Blu-ray? No. Okay, I'm just going to let this one trickle out because I don't understand it yet. You sit at the feet of the Blu-rays, and you have before. You're a light worker and a light carrier. The Blu-rays assist and facilitate your activation. You're like a child at their feet. Okay, it's like you're like a Blu-ray in training. And when I say you, I'm talking about, in this case, your soul and your oversoul, like the big parts of you that are not just here in 3D reality. You've been many light forms in many dimensional realities, and you're a Blu-ray in training. Your soul is in Blu-ray training. So you sit at the feet of the Blu-rays and you learn from them and you absorb them, what they have to offer. This is what they say is like, this is what brings you to class and brings you to this work is, on your soul level that you're getting something you need from here, from me, this transmission machine that my system is. And just stick it out. Just keep going. You've got a couple lifetimes to go with this work of becoming a Blu-ray, but your soul is committed. It's not going anywhere. So it's going to happen. In the meantime, it's about, for you right now, it's about the word that comes is, or the words that come are like disentangling and making simple your spiritual alignment, your mind and your defenses. Like things just want to get simplified and disentangled in your field. That's kind of the entire task of your lifetime this time around. Simplify, purify, declutter your inner landscape. If you make that your task, your soul's gonna be well on its way to what it's after by sitting at the feet of the Blu-rays in the other dimensions. I hope that makes some sense. Let me know. And let me know if you have any questions. Blu-rays run in your 3D family. No. No. In fact, you're a bit of what's that word? Astronaut in your family. You're the astronaut. They're the terrestrial ones. Yes, they have spiritual stuff, they have spirituality, but you're an astronaut. And they're on the earth going, look at that. That's weird. But one of the challenges for you is you try to kind of be them and be you. It's like you try to be in their, it's one thing to be who you are and then find a way to communicate to the earth people, but it's another thing to try to be who they are and try to be who you are. You would benefit from being more of an alien. I hate to say it. Like step into your weirdo-ness more. And part of you goes, more? How much more can I step in? And I get it. But what I mean is you want to drop the expectation a part of you has for yourself that you should fit in still, that you should be one of them and one of you. You can't be one of them. You're one of you. And that's the whole point, is to become more and more of you. You can communicate with them, you can love them, you can be connected to them, but you don't have to be them. And you don't have to keep trying to be them. And the more you try, the more you slow your evolution down. I hope that helps and makes some sense. I love you so much. Let me know if you have more on that. Okay, Carly says, thank you. Grief in the front of the belly is so helpful. Good. Yes, chocolate or coffee. Should I be avoiding those at the moment? I don't get a yes. Would Carla's body benefit from avoiding chocolate or coffee? No. No, just don't overdo it with anything, but I don't get a yes on that. Okay, Doc Bill, I'm very occupied with designing and polishing presentations for international conferences. Oh my. In the process, it seems like my property is being neglected and I should attend to it more actively. What is my best option in the long run? Well, the first thing they go, no, no, no. Don't worry about it. Also, something you could do is you could ask your family members if they would be interested in tending to it. You know, some of those family members that are hanging around right now. Some of them could use a project or two. It might be fun to delegate. And you know what else? It would be useful to them to have that project to focus on. I hope that's helpful. Let me know. But it's like your team, everybody, they don't want you on the project. The property, that's not your project. So delegate. That'd be a great idea. I hope that's helpful, Bill. Rhonda, 3D ass and gear. Yes. Amy Levinson Gray. Should I get back into contact with my mother? My God, no. Jesus, that's a hard pass. Okay, hold on. Let me sit with it though. Let me be a little more subtle than that. They're not always subtle. Amy Levinson Gray, in her soul's highest good to get back in touch with her mother. Hard no. What else can you tell us about that? Awareness, consciousness, God, divinity. Okay. There may be reasons that seem really rationally good, but it won't go the way you'd like it to go. And so the at this time. And so optimal choice would be practice mothering yourself. Like how else can you get mothering? How else can you align with the energy of mothering? You should hang out with Margaret McCarahan. She's very mothering. She's got that Mother Mary thing. It's just she can't help it. It's just there. It's beautiful. You just need like a week with Margaret just being held. Okay, since you probably aren't going to go to Australia. Is that where you are, Margaret? Um, how can you mother yourself? Nurture yourself and grieve a little bit more. I know it's hard to believe, Amy, but like there's more grieving required about how all the pain of the past about your mom and the ways she couldn't be what you needed and the ways you couldn't be what she needed. There's some grieving to be done there for you. And in doing that grief work, the pull will be less strong to reunite. But now is not the time. If you want to ask more specific stuff about this or give me a little more detail, I'd love to hear more and I could say more. That's what I get so far, Amy. I hope that's helpful. Let me know more. Frida says, that sounds right. I'm a projector, but yes, I'm enjoying it. Okay, well, let me pause then, because projectors, the thing about projectors is it's about success, Frida. It's about the sweetness of success. In other words, about things working and being in flow. Yeah, but also with a projector, okay, the projector is the lighthouse, metaphorically speaking. So you know how a lighthouse sits at the end of an island or a piece of land, and it just like shines its light like this and just rotates, shining its light. So you sitting still making art is you doing that. And then you making TikTok videos is people seeing you do that. The teaching with the projector is they say, you want to just be standing in your life doing this, like being the lighthouse, and people come to you. They say for a projector, you do you. Just get busy doing you. What do you love doing? What's fun for you to do? Just be busy doing that. And then whoever needs to see it will recognize in you your gifts and talents and then invite you to do other shit. That's the point of the TikToks. So I don't know that this particular thing will rocket into popularity, but you could if you just be a lighthouse. Remember, projectors are not meant to go out there and get it, go make it happen, go initiate. They're meant to sit still and shine their light. Like that doesn't have to look like sitting still, but it's not about getting it. It's about being it, doing it, and then never saying yes until you've been recognized and acknowledged for your gifts and talents and invited by them to do a thing. I hope that's helpful. Because that's different from the thing I said about being a generator. So it's that. It's not the generator thing. Okay, Jennifer. I'm also feeling a little disconnected from spirit and dissociated in the real life world. Gotcha. I love my new home. Yay! Thanks, Katie, for the inspo. My pleasure. Many things feel right, but I'm curious about this as well as feeling isolated. Sometimes money flow fears popping up. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. Excuse my burp. So, disconnected from spirit. Jennifer Garcia. How does she get reconnected with spirit? Well, I'm not saying this to everybody, so please know this is not an attempt to do anything but tell you what I get. I think you need some energy healing work. It certainly doesn't have to be with me, but I'd love to do it with you if you want to. It's like this, Jennifer Garcia. You're at a next phase of, how do we say? You made big moves. You made huge changes and shifts. Things are better. Now, once you get stabilized into a next station of consciousness, so you went through some difficult states and you're in a station. Now it's time to go to the next station. So you're going to pass through more states to get to that station. A station is somewhere that you anchor permanently. A state is a state. It comes and goes. So because you're anchored into this newer station that's more stable, it's more full of light, it's better for you, it's working. Now there's some stuff in the first and second chakras, the womb, and even part of the third chakra, the bottom and the middle of the third chakra, that are ready to be transmuted into light so that your connection to source can be more activated and more real for you now. It's like you did a huge phase, you took a pause because you were anchoring into what you got from that phase, which, by the way, good on you for pausing. A lot of people don't pause. They just compulsively drive forward into like more healing, more, which is sometimes what you need, but sometimes not. Sometimes you need to pause. And so I just want to acknowledge you for like listening to yourself and doing that. That's hugely important. So now it's time to clear some more stuff out to get you more activated when you're ready, when you're able. And that's also the cause of the dissociation in 3D life. This stuff in the womb that wants to move out. Yeah. Money fears is a whole other thing. I think we need to discuss the money thing in a session or two. When you're able, when you're ready. There's a lot there, and I don't have time for it right now. There's just a lot in there. And when I say a lot, I don't want you to feel intimidated by that. It's more like it's a complex web of things that has to do with family and history and the past and past lives and trauma, and you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a web. So let's dig into it when you're ready. I'm eager to help you with that. I love you and it's good to see you here. Tiffany says, "Star." I don't know what that means, but you're the best. Leslie, very shy and have adopted an introvert lifestyle, both on social media and in real life. Is my being like this stopping me from reaching my true potential? Interesting. Do I need to change it? Okay, let me sit with that for a second. Leslie Colas. Okay, there's a couple pieces here. The first piece is, think of it like this. There are two sides to this coin, or we could say two aspects to this question. You are introverted. You need a fair amount of time alone. You are soft spoken and somewhat quiet, but you can be that in a group of people. In other words, you can be you, quiet, soft spoken, a bit introverted, while sitting at a big dinner table with a lot of people. Part of so the two pieces are, they would like you to confront the social anxiety that comes up. And if you feel into it, it's in the belly, in the front of the second chakra. And by confront the social anxiety, what they mean is like every time it comes up when you're like about to do a social thing, feel into it, drop into it, feel it, feel it, feel it, and let it dissolve a little. Sometimes just by feeling into an anxiety, it shifts and softens. And then tell this part of you who's anxious that when you go do your social things, you are not obligated to be loud or interesting or dynamic or the life of the party. You get to fucking sit there and be quiet if you want. It's like part of the anxiety for you socially comes from expectations that you've put on yourself about who you have to be when you're in the social environment. But you don't have to be anything other than what you feel like being. So that should help a little bit if you can remind yourself of that. So there is a piece of this they want you to work through, which is the not going out enough, the not interacting more, the not doing the social stuff. The other side of it is honor and acknowledge that you are quiet and introverted, and that's fine. When we can acknowledge who we are and really own it and stop being in so much resistance to it, we gain a lot of power in our social interactions because you're now no longer doing social stuff in order to get something or in order to seem a certain way so that people will like you. Instead, you're doing social stuff to connect with people because humans need each other. We just do. So that's where your guides are like, yeah, you could use some more social time and some more social time. But what you don't need is the pressure to perform, who you are. Just chill when you're out. And when you feel that anxiety, feel into it, be kind and loving to it, and watch it soften and loosen as you're kind with it. Part of why it's so loud in your system sometimes is because it's being exiled or avoided by you. Instead, it needs you to pay attention to it a little bit more. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions. I'm so happy to hear from you in this way. I love it. Yay. Christy, hi, Katie. I have instances where I see something or hear something. I am confident in what I heard or saw, and then I go to relay the information, and what I thought I heard, saw is completely wrong. Okay. Oh, you have more. For instance, my pleasure, Jamie. I will see something that says, or I think it says, the cat is black. Someone will ask what color is the cat, what color the cat is, and I tell them black. We look back and it says the cat is orange. I feel like I'm in another domination sometimes. I think you mean dimension, maybe? I think I need you to ask me a question, Christy, because I don't know what you want me to say. Like, what do you need? What is your question on this topic, my love? Please feel free to ask it. Is she in another dimension, Christy Tar? No. What? Can you frame this as a question? Yeah. I'm starting to get info on it, but I want you to ask a question because I want you to be empowered around this. So let me know. Type it in. Doc Bill, thank you. Daughter needs no delegating, but son-in-law certainly does. Great. Thank you for the nudge. My pleasure. Margaret, I love you. My mother, back to Amy's question, has been abusive to me much of my life. She's 95 and demented. My brother is resentful that I'm not in touch with her for the last 7 months. Of course he is. You know why he's resentful? Because he wishes he weren't in touch and you were the one brave enough to do it. So what you can do is let him, love him and explain to him, I'm doing this for my sanity and you're allowed to too. You don't owe her anything. Like, pray to God and the universe, Amy, that your brother becomes awakened to his own ability to be free, and bless your mother's soul on its journey. Send her love and light on the soul level. Wish for her, pray for her, ask for her to be elevated in consciousness in her next lifetime or in the next dimensional reality or in the afterlife. That's the best you can do for her. And for him, you can pray and ask the universe from the depths of your heart with true sincerity. Break him open into conscious awareness so he doesn't have to be so suffery-ful, so he doesn't have to suffer so much. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for sharing that. Frida, thank you so much for all your help. My pleasure. I appreciate you. I love you. I love Katie Church. Yay! Even when I can't be here. That's awesome. Yay! My pleasure. Jennifer, thank you. I'm so glad. Spot on. Yay. I love you too. It's so good to see you here. Cindy, hi. Got a lot out of today. Fantastic. Why do I see things or understand things incorrectly? Oh, I see. Christy Tar. My pleasure, Amy, and my pleasure, Leslie. Okay, I'm going to take this question from Christy, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Okay. Well, Christy, let me put it like this. We all have work to do, right? In your case, there's enough stuff going on in your field, your energy field, that that I'm not surprised you see things not the way they are. We have some entity invasion, we have some demonic energy, we have some trauma, we have some past life energy. It's like a bunch of dense energies, all in the first, second, third chakras, and the back of the heart, and in the brainstem, and in the brain. And they fuck with your perceptual awareness. They just fuck with us, all of us, these energies. So you just need to process them. You just need a healer to process them with. So get on that katerubin.com when you're ready and book your stuff, and we'll get into it, you know, and we'll clear it for you. Or if not me, do it with someone who knows what they're doing. There's plenty of us out there. And if there's any reason you ever need a referral to someone other than myself, just email me. Here's my email, and ask me for one, and I can refer you to somebody. My friends, this has been a delight. Thank you so much for being here. I just love working with all of you and being here and getting to download the information that I otherwise just walk around hearing. And I'm like, I need somewhere to put all this. So thank you for being the place I get to put all this. You have pending sessions with me. Fantastic. So we'll work on it, Christy. That's great. Email me, set them up, schedule them. Let's do it. My pleasure, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. And Squeezle sends her love, everybody. She just woke up. Let's take a look at her. There she is in the light, as always, rousing herself from slumber against her own better judgment. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and take care of yourselves. Be well. Bye.